staying here in New York City, the teachers union is suing Mayor Eric Adams over planned budget cuts to the public school system. So Adams has been warning of cuts to different agencies amid the migrant crisis. Now, these education cuts could be for $550 million. Let's listen here.
This will be real cuts that will hurt our students and their families and our communities. It is not easy to take this step, but it is unprecedented where we are. We have never had an administration try to cut their schools when they have historic reserves and their revenues are all up.
Yeah, so it's clear New York City Mayor Eric Adams is trying to downplay this.
From time to time, friends disagree, and sometimes it ends up in a boardroom, and sometimes it ends up in a courtroom.
Adams is telling New York City residents to hold the White House accountable for not helping with the migrant crisis. More than 100,000 migrants have arrived in the city since last year.
Yeah, we're also seeing here, too, with Mayor Eric Adams. He was on the record here saying that the reason that there's this exodus, too, of people that are leaving New York City is because of the rats. The rats in the city. I kid you not. That's actually what he said. He also pointed to COVID. Some people left the city, the remote jobs, office jobs. But right now, it's a matter of the cost of living in New York City is extremely high, but he also points to the fact that we have all these migrants coming into the city as well. So he's saying, well, we're seeing an exodus, but we're also seeing people coming to the city that obviously the city's paying for. We've been reporting on that for some time now, that the migrant situation here is costing the city millions upon millions of dollars, and it's only getting worse. Melanie.
It is, and as someone who has been in a classroom, I've been screaming about this for years. Mercifully, I am no longer there, but this is one of the things that I've been screaming about with the illegal immigration problem, which is you have kids in your classroom that speak Spanish. A third of your kids could possibly speak Spanish. What do you do in that case as a teacher? Oh, well, just learn Spanish. Really? Which one? Right. Guatemalans, from Mexico, Spain. Which version of Spanish do you learn? Which dialect? So it's always been, it's been a problem for quite some time, and it's just exacerbated now. I'm not surprised.
Well, it's interesting because as we saw, Mayor Eric Adams has been talking about the different budget cuts and where his focus is right now. And yes, he is decrying that there's so many issues with the border. I think even this week in the United States, there are over 200,000 border encounters. I mean, but what do you make of Eric Adams' overall leadership in New York? I mean, we were all hopeful that he was going to come in. He had a former NYPD background. I mean, what's your take on him at this point?
I was only like this hopeful. That was going to happen. I mean, yes. I was a little bit hopeful that things would change and that he would be a moderate of sorts. But, you know, for him, I do appreciate the fact that he's calling out the Biden administration. I don't feel like he really has a choice. But, you know, also just saying we need more money and we're still a sanctuary city is ridiculous. It's not the money that's the problem. There are all kinds of things that happen that trickle down because of this problem besides the monetary aspects.
Yeah, and when Mayor Adams criticized the Biden administration, the FBI comes for him, right?
Exactly, and that was not a coincidence at all. When that first happened, I said, oh, well, that's just because he criticized the president. And you notice that happens with a lot of people if you so much as say anything bad about the president. But he's iced Eric Adams out. No meetings with him, won't talk to him. And it's ridiculous because you're the president of the entire United States. When you are an elected official, all of your constituents matter, and no one should be frozen out. And I really don't like that.
Yeah. Melanie, Collette, thank you for that.
Thank
You're
you,
sticking around. We got some more things to discuss.
Indeed.